Morning from a very wet Tokyo. The plan today was to go to the Imperial Palace. It is far too wet to walk around. There's like very little cover from what I've heard. So I'm doing a little bit more video game shopping. I'm in an area which a friend recommended. There's two shops that should be right nearby. Annoyingly, they're right next to Akiharbara, which I wasn't planning to go to today, but I'm going to come back another day to Akiharbara. I'm more than anything just looking for something to do today just because it's so wet. Plus it's incredibly busy because not only is it Saturday, but if you watch my yesterday video, you'll know that it is also White Day today. So everyone's out and about, everyone's celebrating the best they can, given the weather and the virus. Yeah, so I'm not really going to be able to show that much, I don't think, in the shops. I'll try and show the outside of the shops, but I don't imagine today having a lot of footage. I'm going to just pre-warn you, because it's too wet, I've got to carry everything, and on top of that, you know, most of the shops don't like me recording inside, so it's one of those things. I will see you guys when I can get something. Most of the footage might well be from my hotel room, but we'll find out, so see you in a bit. So like I said, there wasn't going to be much in terms of recording today just because it's the really bad weather. The rain is actually, I'm going to show you in a second, it's turned into something else, and you can see that's why I've got my hat on. Also, I'm looking right at an APA hotel. I'm staying at APA. Next time I come here, if it's affordable, I'm staying at that APA because this is in the heart of Akiharbara. This is like, hopefully if it's not too much more, that's the plan. That's the next time trip. I'm looking right at it, and I'm pretty much a 5-minute walk away from Super Potato, which I did go in Super Potato, didn't record any. I've got some stuff which I'll show when I get back to the room. I will be going back to Super Potato, and I will be recording it on a better day. It was just too busy in there today. It's white day, it's Saturday, and also it's raining, so everyone's going in and out of shops just to keep dry more than anything. Some of them aren't even buying stuff. So I'm gonna head back towards my hotel, grab a small bite to eat from like Lawson or something nearby. I'm not sure what to do this evening, to be honest. I'm just gonna think about it when I get back to the hotel. The problem is a lot of the stuff I want to do, like walking around the Imperial Palace and stuff, the weather's just not good for it. But I can show you guys what's happening right now. It's actually quite magical. There you go. I don't know if you can see that. That is sleety snow. It's actually snowing. And there's the APA I was talking about. That's right next to a bunch of Lawson with Dragon Quest stuff on it. Yeah, really, really cool. So I'm going to head back towards the hotel, and I'm going to show you what I picked up when I get back. And then I'll update you when we get to the evening. I might just pop to the arcades and stuff, nearby my hotel. Grab a Wendy's tonight. Just fancy a Wendy's or a Freshness Burger. There's a Freshness Burger right like 2 doors down from my hotel. So we'll play it by here. We'll see what happens. But I'll update you when I'm back at the hotel room. Hello, so hopefully this is quite straight. It looks okay for where I'm sitting. I've got my tripod up. I just come back to the hotel, had a Gudon, and I tried a pork bun as well. I didn't record it because I was just starving. But the pork bun was actually quite nice. I know they do a pizza bun as well, which was also in the 7-Eleven, but I'm going to try that in a couple of days, I think. And I got a Mountain Dew from a vending machine while I was out and about. So, what did I get? Apart from a very big amount of money I lost, which is why I didn't want to go to Akiharbara this soon. So, if you didn't know, Akiharbara is known as the Electric District, or as I saw on the sign, it says Electric Town. Basically, all electronics. So they had iPhones, Macs, PCs. They literally had gaming PCs in one shop, which I know my brother would be absolutely hysterical about. And then, of course, video games, anime, manga. What I will say before I get into the games I've got, it was very weird going into some of the shops. I knew there were multiple levels because of the department stores I've been to. But there's some of these, was like 7 or 8 floors. And it starts pretty tame. That's all I'm going to say, is it starts quite tame. By the time you're on those last 2-3 floors, shit gets interesting. I won't say any more than that. But I went round the corner, saw something I didn't think I would see. I went, oh, fuck. Pardon my French, but I was like, oh, shit. So I was like, oh, is it just a poster or whatever? And no, you go in and it's just the whole floor. And then I'm like, right, well, this must be the top floor. And then there's another. I'm like, well, what the freak could be up one more floor? And you go up, you're like, oh, it's even, okay, right. And there's people in there enjoying themselves, shopping. And I'm just like, I only came for video games. You know, I'm that much of a nerd that I was like, I only came for the games, shit. Like, so anyway, I went to a bunch of different shops. Super Potato, like I mentioned, is probably the best organised and the most varied one I saw. And there is like multiple floors on that one, but there's no adult content, we'll put it that way. It's completely electronic video games done, which is like pretty good. Prices were pretty reasonable in there as well. The prices were more or less from memory, because there's so many shops I went to, more or less the same. And there was like multiple times where I'd have like the same game, like 4 of them in a block, and I'd flick through them like, okay, this one's 1,000 yen, this one's 700, this one's 800, 900, and I was very confused why. And I think it's the quality and the condition of the games, to be fair. Which the intention of me buying these games, before anyone says it, is yes, I'm fully aware I cannot play these on European or PAL hardware. I know I cannot do that. I bought these because I either already own these games or I wanted them in my collection. And if I ever do get any Japanese consoles, hey, I've got them to play. If not, I'm a collector. I like to have these things in my collection. So let me go through everything I got. So Super Potato, I could have spent a bit more in there, but I had to ration myself just because of I wasn't sure how much money I had. Turns out I had enough today to get it, but I was just like, I'll forget it, doesn't matter. I'll come back, which was the intention. So everything's a bit stuck together because of the rain and the sleet. So, and there's another thing, I'm not taking these out of the wrappers. They're staying sealed the way they are. So I got, and this is the other thing that I found, self-explanatory, the game covers and everything are in Japanese. I can't read Japanese, I can barely speak it. So I had to, every single shop I'm there going through the games, and that's another thing, they're not alphabetized. I'd have a game beginning with B there, and then next to it an S, and then something completely different there. And it's like, apart from Super Potato, which seemed at least like this game series is in this bit, which was helpful at least, and I was kind of learning what to look for, at least the first couple of kanji symbols. And then they, that's how I found it. So I was able to get, I know what it is because I already have it on back home. I got, it's Resident Evil, but Biohazard Umbrella Chronicles for the Wii, which is kind of cool. And it was shockingly only 418 yen. It is a spin-off and it's a light gun one, but still pretty damn cool. So I got that. And then the other thing I got from Super Potato, and I could have got more, I did see a sealed copy of Biohazard 1, which is the original Resident Evil on PS1. I think to memory it was 162,000 yen, which is approximately, I want to say, somewhere in the range of 120 to 140. So basically it's slightly less than that collector's edition I got. Now the reason it was like that is brand new, factory sealed, never been touched. And I completely understood why. These have all either been used or are just in really good condition. And then I could have got this one a bit cheaper, but then I found that this was a collector's package, so I got Biohazard Dark Side Chronicles, which was the sequel to Umbrella Chronicles. Umbrella Chronicles covers the 0, 1 and 3. This covers 2 and Code Veronica, and it has its own campaign, which is kind of a prequel to Resident Evil or Biohazard 4. I own both of these at home, but I didn't know anything about these collector's editions or anything like that. So I think it comes with a DVD. I've just read that on the back. CD, so soundtrack as well, even better. Wow, okay. So yeah, I'm aware I cannot play these at home, but I already own them. It's literally just a thing of collectors, like I said. What was really helpful was, I can't remember, I don't think it was Super Potato, but there was another shop which literally had, in English, because they probably get asked this all the time, list of systems they sold games for and whether or not they were region locked. So it's literally like 3DS was surprisingly region locked, but you could like buy PS3 and 4 games you can get, and they're completely region locked. So if I find anything on PS3 or 4, I can play that when I get home. There's no issue with that. The only problem is if it's a game that is, for example, Dragon Quest XI came out 1 year later in America and the UK and Europe, because you could get a Japanese copy. You could go on the websites and import it. The catch is everything's in Japanese. It's not been localized, and the manuals and the game plays completely Japanese. You can't change it even to English in the game. They had to take about a year to hire voice actors, translate everything. And Dragon Quest is a big game, like role-playing game. It's a huge, like long game. So tons of dialogue had to be translated. Tons of dialogue had to be re-recorded in English. Then they had to get people to translate it into the game. You know, it's a very time-consuming thing. So Square, who I believe are the developer and publisher, released the game, and then they were like, let's localize it and we'll get it out to people in about a year. So yeah, that was kind of cool. That was really, really cool. And then on my way out, I knew I'd seen it earlier, but I wanted to get my hands on it. So I went to another shop and I got myself a copy of, everything's dripping wet, Silent Hill 3, which is shockingly just called Silent Hill here. There's no difference. So that was good. 1,300 yen. I've played about a quarter to a third of the first Silent Hill game. I need to play 2 and 3. From what I've seen of Let's Plays, I know the story and the characters enough. I think once I get round to playing this one, I'm going to do 1, then 2, then 3.
once I get to this one, I think this is going to be my favourite because it plays well, controls well, and the story, in my opinion, is very under. It's the the first three. It's the red-headed stepchild of the trilogy because the first game's iconic and a classic. The second one is debatably the best because of the story and all of that, but the third one's still very good to a lot of people. So I was hunting high and low for this next one, and when I found that, I just happened to find it, and I was so glad I did. Siren, the first one, or Forbidden Siren as it's known in the UK. Here and in Japan and the US, it's just called Siren. And I was looking around for it. I have got this game and I have beaten this game. However, I was able to only get it on PS4 store, the PSN store, digitally, and it was on sale for like £3.50. And I was like, yeah, I'll snag that. And I've 100%ed it with all the trophies. It's in my top 10 games for sure. It's really, really good, but it didn't sell that well when it came out on PS2. So it was actually kind of hard to find a copy of this, and to find one for 15,000, to find one for 1,580 yen was like, yeah, I don't care if I find this anywhere else. I'm grabbing this, even if it's more cheaper elsewhere. I just needed to make sure I got a copy because it didn't sell that very well. I don't think even here. But I saw the copy of it. I saw the condition. I was like, yeah, done. I'm taking that. I'm very, very glad I found that without even looking for it. It just happened to be. But like you can see on the sides, so Siren was luckily all in English. That is Silent Hill 3 in Japanese. I mean, I had to look for the numbers. The best tip I'll give for anyone that's doing the same thing I am, if you know the developer or publisher, look for that, because those are on it seemed like they were on every single spine. So if I was looking for Biohazard at first before I realised what it looked like the first couple of kanji symbols, I just looked for Capcom. But the problem is Capcom makes and publishes so much like Mega Man and all of that and Street Fighter that I was literally going, no. So it takes time. It takes time to game shop in Japan if you don't know at least some Japanese like kanji. But yeah, that was pretty neat. It was just a real pain in the arse to all of this stuff got a little bit wet because of the weather, as you saw. It was just starting to sleet. I think it still is now. So I went to that shop as well. And then my final shop, which is where I picked up most of my stuff, is called Traders, which there's a couple of these all around Akiharbara and apparently other bits of Tokyo. My friend recommended this particular one to me. And then there's another shop called Beep. I think it was Beep. I didn't get to that one today, but I will be having a look when I go back to Akiharbara. So this is like pretty much the rest of my games. So and I'm going to try to remind myself. So, like I said, when I found this, I snagged it straight away because it was in good condition and I didn't actually even find Siren 1 in the same place. Siren 2, which this was actually is even rarer than the first one because this was not even released in America. It was only released in Europe and UK, if you want to count it, and Japan. And it didn't sell just that well like the first one. So yeah, as soon as I saw it and it was only 2,280 yen, I was like, I don't care, I need to get this. And to be fair, I looked around and I couldn't find Siren 2 anywhere else today. And I only found Siren there on my way out when I picked up Silent Hill 3. So I wouldn't be surprised if I'm holding one of the few copies in Akiharbara. Like genuinely, there must be single-digit copies of both games combined in Akiharbara. I would not be surprised. So that was really, really cool. What was the next one I got? Oh, I did get a copy. I actually forgot I got this. I was like, oh, I need to get a copy of this. 526 yen. The condition wasn't the greatest, but in all honesty, the box looked fine. Biohazard 4, or Resident Evil 4, which, funny enough, I'm watching a video about right now, which I'm going to carry on watching when I get back. 526 yen. This is another one where I noticed the condition changes. There was one for 600, 700, and 1,000 something. Also, if you get the Platinum version of PS2, or its Greatest Hits, I believe, if you're American, the cover's different. It's just Leon's standard. It looks more like the PS4 copy now, like the re-release they did, the HD one. It looks more like that cover with the blue background, Leon holding the gun, and then the Rasputin-looking guy, the Big Cheese, and Sadler and the villagers and the church in the background. But this one's all right, to be fair. This one's all right. I just wanted a standard copy. I don't want Platinum if I can help it. I'm kind of snobby like that. So those were all the I just realised they're all PS2, and apart from the first two were Wii. These are all PS1. So a lot of people are going to be like, wow, you paid more for this than Biohazard 4. Okay. but I really wanted it, and it's Biohazard Gun Survivor, or I believe in the UK it's just called Resident Evil Survivor. This is the first sort of big spin-off game that they did, and it's also considered to be one of the worst Resident Evil games or Biohazard games. It's also a light gun game. So I personally wanted to give it a crack. I'm going to get a UK copy before you say, well, how can you if it's a Japanese copy? But I wanted to get my hands on one. And to be fair, there was a couple. So clearly people were trading them in, or just they did not friggin' like Biohazard Gun Survivor like the rest of the world. So I got that as well. What's this one? Yes, I wanted to get my hands on these because they're on my list of horror games. I did see the sequel and the third one, Ghost Head, but I got the original Clock Tower. Actually, I saw Clock Tower 3 as well on PS2. So I'm trying to get the whole collection of these as well. These were sold quite well in Japan, and then the rest of the world, they weren't really... They didn't sell well. Not that they were received badly from what I've heard. It's mostly because not many people knew what the frig it was. It was like, was Clock Tower. And the original release of this is actually on the Famicom. The Super Famicom, which is, for everyone else in the world, Super Nintendo. So this is a port with CD quality, I think FMVs and stuff, or better, just better rendering and cutscenes on the PlayStation. I think it sold a little bit better on there, because the Super Famicom, whilst it was great, they could fit it on a cartridge. You had to use the Super Nintendo mouse, and at the same time, it's kind of a bit like, you know, I don't know if it sold that well, because I believe it was released about that period. Don't quote me on this, but I believe it was released between the migration from Super Nintendo and N64, like that generation switch. So what we're going through now with PS4 coming up with PS5, hopefully this year. And the last game I got was... What was it? Oh, yes, of course. I had to look all over for this because I couldn't get one that was a decent quality or a decent price. Silent Hill, first one, which has the weirdest box art. I don't get it. Blood on white tile floor. I don't get it. I mean, I've seen Let's Plays, like I said, of Silent Hill. I don't understand why they have this cover. I think the American cover of Silent Hill is the best. The UK one's all right. I was kind of like, cool. I was really, really happy with that. That's the other thing I noticed. Some PS1 games are like this, really thin CDs. Some of them have the big chunky PS1 boxes that I love that were on mostly the European like power regions got. So it's kind of like Japan kind of had a mixture of the two. If it's a 2-disc game like or more like Final Fantasy, then it's in a bigger box. But with stuff like this, it was kind of a 50-50. There was literally copies of, I think it was Clock Tower, where it was like thin or fat, like cases next to each other, and I was just like, okay. And there was like no price difference, it was just the way they were. So yeah, that's all the games I picked up today. I will be getting some more. The other thing, I found a collector's edition for Death Stranding, and it was like, I think it was cheaper than I want to say it was cheaper than my Resident Evil 2, but I was curious, like, how the hell do the Japanese like buy their games? Do they buy them digitally? Do they do this? And after seeing Akiharbara, they probably just go there and they go to their game shops, because tons of stores were putting pre-orders up for Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is, you know, everyone here in Japan seems to be hyped for it. It's a big deal. Plus the rest of the world, it's kind of the big game. Me, not so much. I've never played it, to be fair, to really give it a chance, Final Fantasy. And then the flip side of that was also Biohazard RE3, which is Resident Evil 3 Remake, which I've already got pre-ordered back home, so I don't need to worry about that. Plus, I wouldn't be for it anyway, more importantly. I think there's actually a week difference. Yeah, in fact, there is. The Biohazard or Resident Evil is out on the 3rd of April. 1 week later is Final Fantasy. So the Japanese are having it good. They're going to have it very good in April. If they can get to the shops and get a copy, if they can secure a copy. But yeah, I was very, very impressed with Akiharbara, what I saw. But I will say that I had to stop myself today. I had to have discipline, because, oh my goodness, the amount of stuff I could have and would have bought. I found a Stars like box thing, and it was like 6,000 something yen. I was so puzzled, so I asked the guy behind the counter, I'm like, well, you know, what is it? And he said, oh, it's basically just a box, a container. And I was like, oh, okay. but it was like one of those pop-up boxes, but it was a special tactical, and you know, I can't remember. It's really embarrassing because I should know Resident Evil, but it was so weird, like to see that sort of stuff. I did get some other stuff, but it was mostly souvenirs for my family more than anything. So that was cool. But yeah, honestly, no idea what the plan is for tonight. No idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably organise my bag. See if I can start packing some stuff up and make sure shit fits more than anything. My collector's edition of Resident Evil should fit. I did honestly consider that Death Stranding collector's. The box was fucking massive. It's almost as big as my friggin' fridge if you guys saw it in the video. It's fucking massive. So I was like, one, I was skeptical on the game anyway. Two, no. No, one is a lot of money. Two, the size of the goddamn thing and the weight. I picked it up gently just to like test. Oh yeah, that literally screamed excessive weight and over having to pay extra weight on the A&A airline to get that home. And I just thought, from what I've heard, it's a very mixed bag so-so game. So if I want to get Death Stranding, I'll get it on sale. Is the plan. Plus, I've never played a Kojima game, so I need to give that a try someday. But yeah, that's that. So, not sure what the plan is tonight. I think I'll see how the weather goes more than anything. But it's about 5, I think, now. It's getting on for nearly 5, I believe. So, yep, I'm going to sort my bag out and get some other bits and pieces ready. And then we'll go from there. So, yeah, see you in the next video.